welcome back to my channel. My name is Iona. For those who are new here, it has been a while. I have not posted a long form video in a minute. I have been posting short form videos. Life just happened, and so here we are. For today's video, I wanted to go ahead and talk about what I read for the month of February. I actually think that I did pretty well. So it was only about 5 books, but I feel like I dipped into exploring different genres. But yeah, I think it started off a little bit slow because we're bleeding from January into February. But I do think that I read some pretty good books for the month of February. So let's go ahead and get started. So for the first book, I actually started reading this in January, but I had a hard time reading it. So it kind of took me a while to finish this book, and that is Onyx Storm. I know it might be a little bit surprising to hear that I had a tough time reading this book because I absolutely do love Fourth Wing and I love Iron Flame. However, with this book, it was a little bit tough for me. Like I said, I started in January and went on into February. And yeah, for me, I think, okay, so first let me go ahead and explain what this book is. So this book is part of the Fourth Wing, the Empyrean series. So the first book in that series is Fourth Wing. The second book is Iron Flame, and this would be the third book. It's supposed to have 5 books in total. So yeah, I did not enjoy this book. I'm just going to be honest. I know a lot of people did enjoy this book. However, for myself, it just took me a while to finish. And also, it was a bit confusing. So in my opinion, it felt as though there was a lot of things that I was missing. I feel like I do need to reread this book because I'm still a little bit confused as to what happened and when things were happening. So on my part, it felt like this book was a little bit all over the place, and I had a hard time grasping where I was, what I was supposed to be reading. Granted, in a lot of series, there's always that book in a series that there are facts thrown at you, and because this series is not finished yet, we are in the middle of a whole series, it could be leading to some of my confusion. So yeah, that was the first book. I'm going to count it towards the end of January and towards the beginning of February. So I didn't technically finish it till a couple days into February. So I'm going to count this as a February read. So the next book that I did read, and I absolutely love this book. I love the whole series. It made me a fan of Anna Huang. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Anna Huang. I'm a huge fan of her writing, and I love all of her books so far, and that is Twisted Lies. So I did finish the first 3 books in the series rather quickly, and for some reason, I did not get to this book until February. So even though I had read the first 3, this one sat in my shelf for a while, and I wanted to kind of start finishing series that I haven't yet finished. So this was the beginning of that. And so Twisted Lies is actually about Christian and Stella. So as you know, in the Twist, or you may not know if you haven't read the Twisted series before, but in the Twisted series, there are a series of 4 friends. I am not going to attempt to say all their names because I can't say it off the top of my head. I have the worst memories. Anywho, each book centers around their story. So the story here is Stella's. So Christian runs a security company and Stella is an influencer. I love how this book brings you into the modern time of a romance. It could almost be like a romance movie that you're watching as you're reading this book, and I really did enjoy their story. It is not my favorite out of all the stories. My favorite would have to be Twisted Hate, which has Jules' story as well as Josh's story. I just like them as characters and individuals. But all in all, I loved every book in the series, like I mentioned, and I really do enjoy Anna Huang's writing, and I think that I will continue on to read her other series. I think I do have her series up here in my book collection. I have the King of Wrath, King of Pride, King of Greed, and King of Sloth. And I believe there's one more, and that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the last book before I go on and dive into that series. But overall, yeah, I highly recommend this book. I think I gave it like, what did I give? How many stars did I give it? I think I gave it like a 4. Was it like a 4.5? I think it was a 4.5 because although I did enjoy reading it, it wasn't my favorite in the series. But yeah, something that I did give a 5 stars to, and I hate Rebecca Yarros for this because she like got me all up in my feelings, and I'm sure just that sentence alone would probably tell you that it was one of her romance books. But yeah, this book, The Last Letter, oh my gosh, I don't know, like I cried so much. So this story is the story of Emma and Beckett. So Beckett is in the military. Beckett had served with her brother Ryan. Things happen, things are sad, they fall in love. I don't want to give away the book, guys, so I'm not gonna do that. I did do it in a short, so if you want to know more about the story, go ahead and watch that short. But yeah, all I'm gonna tell you is that this book absolutely tore me to pieces. It made me so sad. I felt like some of the sadness was, you know what? I'm going to be honest. So a lot of the sad parts happened in the beginning. So the whole time I was reading the book, I was like, why does everybody keep saying that this book is so sad? Like nothing really, I mean, other than her brother passing, which I'm sure if you've read any synopsis of this book, you probably know that her brother passes away and is, you know, killed in action. And so that's what brings her and Beckett together. So that part is really sad. But then and then there's, you know, other things in the very beginning that happens that's really sad. But other than that, like in the middle, it's pretty, you know, average. It's pretty, you know, living life and stuff like that. And I'm like, why does everyone keep saying that this book is so sad? Until the last couple chapters, guys, I'm telling you, this book is gonna get you. You're gonna be like, you're gonna be okay, and then a rug gets pulled up. That's what I felt like. I was like, why? Why, Miss Yarros, did you do this to me? But yeah, The Last Letter, I highly recommend. I did give it 5 stars. So yeah. And then 2 books that I don't have physical copies of because I did read them in my e-reader. The first one is The Perfect Son by Freida McFadden. I'm sorry if I said that wrong, but yeah, by Freida McFadden. I was really excited to read this book because it was one of the first mystery books that I've read, and I actually really got into it. She got me into mysteries, guys, so I'm excited to read more mysteries in my future. But yeah, this story is about Erica, our main character. She has children. I believe her son's name was Liam. I'm not remembering what the daughter's name was, but she also had a daughter, and she also has a husband. Seemingly her family seems normal. Cops come into her door claiming a teenager had disappeared. So from the way she talks about it, she says that Liam is her favorite, but when she's talking about him, she seems to imply that he has tendencies like you know, like sociopathic tendencies. So you kind of already know that her son is not perfect, and she's well aware of his tendencies. So you go through that and you're trying to figure out who what happened with this girl, Olivia, that disappears. And for me, in my opinion, even though this book was a mystery, I definitely already knew what was coming. It wasn't really like that big of a stretch to know who done it or what was happening. And I kind of like that, to be honest with you. With my first mystery, I kind of like that I kind of knew where I was going, and it still kept me hooked. So from my perspective and just diving into mysteries, I did like that I started with a Freida McFadden book because I didn't want something too complicated, and I liked that I kind of knew what the deal was. It was almost kind of like watching an LMN movie, if you know what I mean. If you guys know what channel that is, it's like Lifetime movies. With Lifetime, there was all these mystery movies that you kind of knew where it was headed, but you still watched, right? Because it was entertaining. So yeah, for my first mystery, I absolutely loved it. And I think I would probably rate that like 4 stars. And I would read more of her books because I enjoyed her writing and I really liked it. But yeah. And so another one that I did enjoy. So I consider February to have been a successful month for me because I enjoyed most of the books that I read, except Onyx Storm. And I'm sorry to say that. And I really do love the series, guys. I love the series. So I'm just going to wait to form my opinion until the last one. When I finish the series, I will form my complete opinion because, like I said, in every series, there's that book that's just trying to give you facts and you're like, what? And because the series is not finished yet, I kind of really can't form an opinion on it. So yeah, but the book itself, by itself, I did not enjoy at this time. But yeah, let's move on. So the final book that I did read for the month of February, I enjoyed as well. And I forget which YouTuber it was that mentioned this book. And I remember seeing it before as well. So I was curious and decided to go ahead and read it. And I will go ahead and post who it was that recommended this book right here somewhere on the screen. And that book was A Dowry of Blood. This is my first time reading a book by this author, but I did enjoy the writing. I don't know if she has any more books of a similar nature, but I would definitely pick up her books again if she did have something else. But A Dowry of Blood is essentially about Dracula and his relationships, and it's about his different spouses, Constanza or Constance, Magdalena, and Alexei. So from the book, it seems that Constance is supposed to be the first wife, but we find out later in the book that he has actually had previous spouses. But within that group, Constance was supposed to be the first spouse. And then we have Magdalena, and then we have Alexei. So it's written in a form of Constance writing a letter to Dracula, or so we think it's Dracula, but they never really outright say that. But going into the reading, assumed that it was Dracula and his relationships. But it's written in a form of a letter from Constance to Dracula and how he has treated them and all that has gone on. So there's a lot of manipulation. There's, abuse. There's things going on in the relationship, and you really see it through the eyes of Constance. And then she talks about her relationships with Alexei as well as Magdalena, which are good relationships. They form a bond with one another. But yeah, I really enjoyed reading this, and I do highly recommend it for those of you looking for a book of that nature. I didn't feel like it was too explicit. I do feel like it does talk about some serious topics in a fictional book, and you are seeing the abuse through the eyes of the victim per se. So yeah, I did enjoy reading all of the books that I've read for the month of February. Currently, we are about a couple days into March, so I will go ahead and talk about the 2 books that I am actually already reading. So I've started reading one of the books towards the end of February, so I'm not going to count that as a February read, but I am going to count it towards my March reads. So currently in the month of March, I am already starting on Mother of Death and Dawn. So I actually contemplated whether or not I wanted to read this book this month, only because I wasn't ready. I don't know if I was ready. I wanted to read other books, but I know I have mentioned in previous videos that I want to go ahead and dive into the Zodiac Academy book. So I kind of wanted to finish whatever series that I had open and I hadn't finished off yet, and go ahead and finish that. And this is one of them. So let me tell you why I was kind of hesitant to read this. And that's because Onyx Storm did it to me. I no longer wanted to read any romanticies, okay? Like, I was done with them. But I went ahead and started reading this. And honestly, guys, it won me back. This book is winning me back into the romantasy series. I absolutely love the storyline so far. And I know some people don't enjoy this series and have not liked it. I, however, am a huge fan. I love the series, and I think that I am going to be sad once it's finished. I am about, let me see what page I'm in. I am on chapter 32. Let me see how many chapters there are. I think that's about 30% in. So let me see, epilogue. I'm not looking for that. Let me see. Well, I'm seeing here, I don't know, I'm seeing chapter 110. So there's over 100 chapters in that book. But I'm still enjoying myself and I love it. So yeah, after I'm finished with that book, I'll go ahead and rate the whole series and let you guys know how I feel about it. But I do like the fact that it is a finished series. So that is a good thing. And then another book that I have just started, because like I mentioned, I am looking to finish whatever series I have started so that I can go ahead and move on to Zodiac Academy. So I started reading Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I did read the 2 previous books already, so this is the last one in that series, but they can be read as standalones, which is a good thing. I have only honestly read, I'm only like 3 pages into it, so I couldn't really even tell you who the characters are, what I'm feeling about the book. But I'm sure with Abby Jimenez, that's another author that I absolutely love reading her stuff. So I could almost guarantee that I'm gonna love this book. But I'll let you know. And then look at my little bookmark. I've showed this before, but look at my cute bookmark. And that's You're My Lobster. And I put that with all of my romance books. So yeah, I am enjoying myself, and these are the 2 books that I am reading so far for the month of March. And the 5 books that I read for the month of February, I would say that February was a pretty good month, aside from Onyx Storm. I'm not gonna hate on it, guys. I feel like it's gonna get better. Because I love Fourth Wing. It has to get better, or else I'm gonna be sad. But yeah, thanks so much for joining me. If you made it this far, I really do appreciate you. I appreciate you watching my content and supporting me. If you did like this video, please like and subscribe, and have a great day. Bye.